All right, well, let's get started then. We're going to start with the totally less than 2-minute opening, and we will start with the squad.
Excuse me, my name is Josh Boyd, a crop candidate for San Diego City Council District 2. And this, my pleasure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Josh Boyd, a crop candidate for San Diego City Council District 2. I'm the proud son of a small business owner and a grocery store clerk, the first in my family to graduate from college. I've never been one to sit on the sidelines when my city and my community have needed it most. I'm extremely proud and humbled to be here tonight. I want to thank the Claremont Town Council and the League of Women Voters for hosting us tonight, and I look forward to our discussion. In 2016, when Donald Trump was first elected, I was working double time on our crisis lines, supporting LGBT youth all across the country to ensure that they did not feel abandoned or alone, and they had the resources that they need to be successful and succeed. In 2020, when our city faced the pandemic, I was proud to serve our city with Dr. Jen Campbell to ensure that our families and our businesses had the resources that they needed to succeed during those difficult and trying times. And currently, I have the opportunity to serve as Chief of Staff at the Downtown San Diego Partnership, where I oversee our unhoused care initiatives, our homelessness initiatives, ensuring we can continue to get folks off the street and into housing. I believe this is a meet-the-moment opportunity for our city, and I believe that we need a champion and a fighter to not take our city back, but move our city forward and get back on the right track. And I believe I have the experience to do that, to bring our families the much-needed care and address their concerns as in terms of cost of living. I'm very proud to be endorsed by Assemblymember Chris Ward, State Senator Catherine Blakespear, and Councilmember Stephen Whitburn. And I very much look forward to your discussion tonight and answering your questions. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. We go to Ms. Crosby.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Claremont. I'm Nicole Crosby. I am running for City Council because we need a council member who is going to work for us. I'm a daughter of California. I grew up here, and my mom worked nights for 30 years. And it started because even when I was a kid, childcare was too expensive. And she got free medical insurance when she worked nights as a clerk. During the day, I'm a deputy city attorney. I do housing protection and civil code compliance in order to make sure that our vulnerable seniors and neighbors are not being taken advantage of by slumlords and making sure that they have a safe place over their head. I've also prosecuted domestic violence, child abuse, and hate crimes, making sure that our community is safe for everyone. I'm the immediate past president of the Claremont Town Council, and I'm so proud of this community and inviting everyone to be here. We know that it's important for affordability. We need to have housing that welcomes all of us, to keep kids in our schools, to keep seniors in their homes, and to make sure that working families don't have to drive far. I'm also proud because I'm the PTA president at Holmes Elementary School, where my daughter is a third grade. Kids need to go to school. They need to be in a safe environment, and it's good for them to go close to home. And they need to make sure that when they go outside their doors, their friends and their neighbors are the kids they go to school with. So as a long-time individual, almost a Claremonster, maybe one day I will be. It's really important for us to make sure that there's accountability and transparency and looking at evidence-based practices. And a long-time prosecutor and attorney, we need to make sure that we are delivering for the community. I've been endorsed by Assemblymember Darshana Patel, Supervisor Monica Montgomery Stepp, the Southwestern Regional Carpenters, California Women's List, AFSCME Local 127, and a host of other amazing labor leaders, including people who are sitting here in this room. Thank you.
Mr. Bailey?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here tonight and caring about the future of San Diego. After all, San Diego is one of the best places to call home, but if we're being honest with ourselves, City Hall is not living up to the best of San Diego. A third of city streets are rated as poor or failing. Thousands of streetlights have been out for years. Homelessness is near an all-time high. Police response times are at record lows. Meanwhile, large housing projects are being built in single-family neighborhoods without any regard for parking or traffic mitigation. And the city of San Diego is running a $100+ million structural deficit, despite taking in an all-time high record amount of tax revenue just last fiscal year. There's one cause for this, and that cause is bad policies. I believe the city of San Diego and San Diego residents deserve They deserve better policies. I believe my record as a two-term mayor of Coronado, a city that is AAA bond rated, that has zero debt, that has streets you can actually drive on, that has safe parks in a downtown business community where you can feel safe to bring your family, combined with my experience as a financial analyst for a Fortune 500 company and being a small business owner with two businesses that operate in a district, make me uniquely qualified to deliver better policies for better San Diego. I thank you for your time tonight, caring about the future of San Diego, and I'm looking forward to discussing the issues.
Thank you, Ms. Havlick.
Good evening. I'm Mandy Haslick, and I'm running for San Diego. Hopefully, well, should make respect.
Yeah, W.
Start again.
All right, thank you. Good evening. I'm Mandy Haslick, and I'm running for City Council because I believe District 2 deserves a representative who's already been showing up for the community before ever asking for the title. I'm a mom of two teens, a wife to a Navy combat veteran. I'm a proud Indigenous woman. I'm a registered member of the Temiskaming First Nations. And on my mom's side, I'm a first-generation American. The Navy brought our family here to San Diego more than a decade ago, and this community quickly became our home. I ran for City Council 4 years ago, and just like I said, I've been showing up for the community ever since. Today, I serve as the first vice chair of the Peninsula Community Planning Board and the first vice chair of the Sunset Cliffs National Park Council. I work with residents and elected leaders on land use issues, environmental protections, traffic safety, and responsible development for our coastal communities. I've been deeply involved in protecting our coastline, supporting tree planting and restoration efforts, as well as advocating for thoughtful planning and reasonable growth. My husband and I also have been involved in protecting the coastal height limit, the 30-foot height limit that was passed by citizens in 1972. We successfully won against the city in court when they tried to remove the 30-foot height limit away from the Midway District, because where we build and how high we build, it matters in our coastal communities. I'm a member of the Point Loma Rotary. I'm also a member of the Love Thy Neighborhood. I'm a part of Radiant Children's Auxiliary, who's helped raise over $700,000 for children and families who are facing the crisis of cancer. And I'm a survivor of child marriage. I know the power of communities because it was my community that saved me from that experience. And I know that there's power in people, and that's why I would love to represent you at City Hall. And we need someone who's going to listen to the community first and be there in service to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
Hi, my name is Jacob Mitchell. I'm running for City Council because I think a regular person can make a change. So my background is as a chemist and working in molecular biology. And the real reason that I'm running in this is because I think that the utility hikes in energy and water are one of the biggest threats faced in the city. And I don't think leadership in all forms of government is typically well able to understand the policies that they have influence upon. And so when we deal with these infrastructure problems as we go into the future, I think I will be the most skilled to address those specific issues. But on top of that, I'm just a regular San Diegan. I've grown up here my entire life. I've lived 28 years in San Diego, Point Loma specifically. Went to PLNU as well, so I went to university at District 2. And the reality is I just love this place. So, until they tell me that I legally can't advocate for this campaign anymore, I'm just enjoying being able to talk to all of you and spend time in the community. It is such a pleasure. It's been, honestly, I'm so hopeful that when I talk to people that I could make things better. And I don't want to talk in big platitudes forever, but the reality is I'm well-versed in science and am currently doing my best to become well-versed in business. So I transitioned to business development in my last job, and I'm currently pursuing my MBA. No Fortune 500s, but I set the curve on my midterm for accounting. I just feel so honored to be able to speak to all of you. Please connect, even if you're not interested in voting or you have any disagreements with any of my policies. I'm here to have a conversation and just be a member of the community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Ricky.
I'm Mike Ricky. I'm not only a San Diego native, I grew up here, raised my family here. I'm a 20-year merchant marine officer. I've been on at sea the last 20 years, 8 months out of the year. So I have to really participate in much the city government's what's been going on. As I'm trying to retire from that, the more I've been held, the more I see things, the more I just feel like I have to get involved. As I go around talking to my neighbors, the people where I grew up, I'm finding more and more people agree about the same problems and have the same concerns. They feel like they don't have a voice. They feel like they have no hope of getting any back. So I'm hoping to at least bring a voice to my neighbors. And if at all possibly bring change. I want to see things get better in our community. I want to see our city government get more fiscally responsible so that we're not always in debt and it's lagging, parts repairs, street repairs. I want to see things change. I think it can change. Seeing all of you out here today shows that people are willing to show up and get involved. And that actually is what's giving me more hope than doing this campaign. Like it.
Thank you, Mr. Schlikowski.
So,
Thanks.
Okay. I think it's the greatest thing to pass. So it's like been chosen.
Thanks, Tina.
Youth, the man to chill.
Are you sure that is not to change?
Can we end in question of dogs? It's like that's slowly pumped. It's like where I can see Bruce. It's getting hot out. What's the hell? This spot of I don't hate that. It's done. Just ties. So that's which will cut. Yes, I can. It's on the road back to the I still have that. I'm not even letting know. Such a what it is. It's coming over. Shit.
That's just because in the charger to place past it. So
What's that? Jones was making this. That's. Do you think of the recurrence? Got that?
That's a tough act to follow, but I'm going to try. Good evening, District 2. Thank you for being here tonight. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here. My name is Paul Supa. I am a 30-year resident of San Diego. 30 years of that mostly spent in District 2. I am a University of San Diego School of Law graduate, 1999. And I've been a lawyer for 26 years, mostly civil litigation, trial law, victim advocacy. I'm presently a partner with Stellan Kennedy, a professional law corporation. I am not a career politician. I am not beholden to any special interests. I'm neither a Democrat nor a Republican. Candidly, I think that both parties are failing us currently, and I'm running as independent. I believe that the core function of government, one thing that governance should be responsible for, and that is spending taxpayer monies wisely. We don't do it. We're running a structural deficit, even though we collect $2.1 billion, and that needs to change. My platform is focused around a easy-to-remember acronym. It's SAFE, double S for streets and safety, A, access and affordability, F, fiscal or financial responsibility, and E, environment and education. If government focuses on these issues and does not focus on extraneous issues, then we will have a government that functions properly.
If you vote for me, I will fight for you, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that the city is run properly. I will bring your voice. I will listen to your concerns, identify the problems, and I am an implementer. I will implement the best solutions. Thank you for your consideration of my candidacy. You can find out more about my platform on sddistrict2.com. And I'm going to go above and beyond. I want to give you my cell phone number for access. If you want it, call me anytime. It's 619-930-6309. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, it's now time for the candidates to answer your questions. Each candidate is going to have 1 minute to answer your question. Mr. Super, we'll start with you since you have the microphone. Because what are your top 2 priorities for improving Claremont in the next 12 months and why?
Thank you for that question. So I think one of the biggest issues here in Claremont is we're having this issue with SB or S79, right? We've got this issue with the state and density, housing issues, and affordability. We continually have increased fees such as trash, parking. It's not sustainable, and that will lead to increases in property taxes. So if you don't want that, if you cannot afford that, then I respectfully ask that you vote for me. I'm going to fight against that. Thank you. Another issue that I would be very concerned about is, of course, we have to prioritize issues related to homelessness and our children education. We cannot have our children walking over homeless people on the way to school. We have to dismantle compassionately encampments and address those concerns. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Ricky? The question is, what are your top 2 priorities for improving Claremont in the next 12 months and why?
Have top 2 priorities. Well, for Claremont in particular, our traffic, our roads are a big issue we have here. With the construction going on, we've seen a lot of slowdowns, backups, but we're also seeing lanes being needed. We're seeing off-street parking is needed. That's becoming a big issue. A lot of my neighbors are complaining about this on a daily basis. I would go back on those measures and look at what's working, what isn't working. I believe bike lanes are necessary, but they need to be really thoughtful and planned out with the community. I have kids at Marston Middle School, and we lost cars parking in front of the school. We cut 20 spaces down to 70. That's not sustainable. We had to do some we had parts of this out. We're going to be looking at those issues. That's something about working. We'd be able to roll it back and go ahead what we need to do. That's one in particular. Public safety is also a big issue that we have going on right now. We're having a lot of issues with petty theft and other issues that need to be dealt with on a local basis.
Mr. Mitchell.
All right, so 1 and 2, I'll just start with 1. I work in construction. I have worked in construction and painting houses and doing manual labor. So one of the first things I want to do is get people fill potholes, and I want to do a bunch of ride-alongs and fill some potholes myself. But to follow that up, about energy, that was a common issue that I was running into talking to the grocery stores out here in Claremont, is I want to start a pilot program for plug-in solar. So this is a type of solar that is unapproved in the state. You just plug it into your wall, but it does need regulations because say you have large sums of these panels plugged in and you had a down power line and someone was working on the solar panels couldn't power one. So there does have to be, safety regards, but that could be implemented and save the average user $30 on their monthly expenses for energy, and that's just one panel. So these things are $400, $500 a piece. My thousand add up, but I really love Claremont, and this is where I rented it because this is not affordable to point one less, and I love this city. So thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Hasek? Very talk.
As I've been talking to the neighborhoods here in Claremont, a lot of the issues have to do about affordability. Claremont has seen growth in the community with the former like 80 years. but we haven't seen that has represented affordability or change in pricing. I'm currently working with seniors who are in affordable housing, Coppabella and Genesee. And the day before Thanksgiving, they got an 8.8% rent increase. We have continued to try to build our way out of the housing crisis, but we don't have the policy that's going to allow us to keep our housing affordable. I'd like to look for rent relief for seniors, and again, truly build the housing that our communities need, not just densifying. And back to what Michael said, it's the streets. People don't feel safe, and they don't feel that the city's adequately invested in the infrastructure. And especially with the Pure Water project and the redesign of the roads, it's created some unsafe or some questionable scenarios for residents as they're walking, biking, and driving through Claremont. So I believe an investment into infrastructure would also be my second priority.
Thank you. Ms. Crosby?
Thank you. Infrastructure and affordability. And infrastructure is multi-layered. We're looking at the Claremont plan that has just been approved, and it's amazing because it actually concentrates density areas and growth in areas that already have shocks and parking, and also keeping the parking in order to make sure that people on the mesa can actually access it. Like if you are not on top of the mesa, walking up the hill any direction is very challenging. The infrastructure for public transit here is non-existent, and that needs to be a priority, especially if we're going to be adding, as the plan states, from building to the heart of our communities and outward. This will keep kids in our schools, this will keep families close by and seniors, and that is huge. But goes to affordability. I think we need to look at the Housing Commission, see what we might do to expand the opportunities instead of just being buckets that accept money. We need to see what kind of return on investment that we can do in order to make sure that we are providing a broader group affordable housing, because it is too expensive here. There are many ways that we can do it, and I look forward to tackling those issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Coyne?
I have been knocking doors here in Claremont for almost 2 months now, and the consistent theme that I hear here in Claremont or here in Point Loma is that there is a failure at the door, that folks do not trust that our city can deliver on basic municipal services. And first and foremost, if we're going to continue to ask residents to pay more, we need to deliver basic services and ensure that if we say we're going to deliver a new trash can shows up and the old one goes away. And when you leave the old one out in the street for multiple days on end and the city doesn't come pick it up, someone should be able to pick up the phone in your council office to be able to come and ensure the city picks up your old trash can. We need to deliver quality services for you, the taxpayers. Second to that is cost of living. It's very important here in Claremont with families, with children, that we ensure our next generation can afford to stay and live here in San Diego. Folks are getting priced out, and parents, families are wondering how it is that they will be able to afford to not only put food on the table, but be able to send their kids to college and stay. So deliver affordability services and then deliver basic services. Thanks.
Okay, Mr. Haley?
The number one issue facing District 2 right now is the number one issue that's facing the city of San Diego at large, and that issue is the city's budget. The city is running a $100+ million structural deficit. Over the past 10 years, the city's population has increased by just 1%. Staffing's up 27%, middle managers up 461%. But performance is at all-time lows. The city does not have a revenue problem. It has a spending and management problem. So unless we're willing to address that through major reforms at City Hall to deliver better services for less, your streets, your parks, the homeless problem will only continue to get worse. It all starts and ends with the budget. On the quality of life issue, though, we are seeing housing projects built in single-family neighborhoods and unmitigated parking and traffic concerns. If you live in a single-family neighborhood, you should be able to take your trash can out to the street without having to fight all the cars that are parking on the street due to the ADU development that just went in there with absolutely no parking. So fiscal issues, quality of life issues.
Thank you. We'll start question 2 with Mr. Ricky.
Thank you, Grant.
In Claremont, major roads are being repaved and bike lanes are being added at the expense of parking and traffic lanes. Where do you stand on this?
Certainly, I'm against it. San Diego, we designed Claremont as a transit community. It was designed with 4-lane roads for a reason, to allow people to be able to help. taking that down to 2-lane lanes, adding bike lanes, if people aren't choosing, and they can put in other areas, it would be more effective. That is more efficient and better spent. The money we're spending on bike lanes and those removing the street parking is like sure. So
Unique. Thank you. Mr. Mitchell?
In general, I support bike lanes, but the way this is being done is not as a fan of, and fundamentally, the people aren't using them because they don't get them to other safe areas to bike. You need like a robust biking system throughout the city to functionally be used as transport between work, and this just isn't doing it. Thank you.
Bike lanes have created quite the discussion here in San Diego because a lot of small business owners feel like they're competing with the bike lane to stay open. I really do think that we need to build a connected bike lane and a biking network throughout our city. But again, it does need to be balanced. We don't want to be removing parking as we're implementing bike lanes because it's not just feeling like to get out, not everyone's going to get out of their car and get on the bike. I really think that the city needs to balance the approach when it comes to installing bike lanes to ensure that they work with the community and to maximum community outreach, especially if they're going to be reducing parking lanes around business districts or small business storefronts that would be impacted by the loss of that parking.
Thank you, Mr. Cooley.
We have installed some amazing infrastructure in and around our city, largely because of the funding that we received to complete said project. The reason that we see so many bike lanes in the city is because the city can't afford to pay per curve. They're getting grant funding to ensure that they're able to complete that project so that you can have a good rate. I don't bike, but other people do. Government can and should do more for people to get around the city safely. If we're going to install a bike lane, we should do it right. We should ensure that it's safe for folks who do bike. We should ensure it's safe for people who are driving, so that when you're trying to merge over, you're not worried about doing something kind of bike. The city should do more to ensure that its infrastructure meets the needs of its people. I don't believe that we have continued to do that all throughout the city. We've done it in good places. We do it downtown. We've done it in other places where we have a concentration. But it should continue to look at that and maximize the community plan as outlined to ensure folks get around our city safely. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Crosby.
The biggest disappointment I throw out to council when we talked about the bike lane is that everyone was surprised. We got monthly briefings from the city and nobody mentioned the striping. Communication was lacking, and all we wanted to know is what is going on and when is it happening. And this is how we lose confidence. So the bike lanes, once they were in and people got adjusted to a certain extent, there was a little adaptability there. But when we make it hard for people to understand that something, like when it's sneaky behind the scenes, like it makes, maybe we shouldn't do it yet. Maybe we need to think twice. Evidence free, everything that I do is evidence based, and we need to make sure that there's a reason and that we know what is going on and people are going to be using it. So here, Claremont doesn't have enough of a transportation as we have campus that are protected and walking through them. The sidewalks are light. It's just not happening. So it's putting the cart before them.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
In Coronado is a very bikeable community. Here in San Diego, bike lanes do make sense in some areas, but not at the expense of other infrastructure projects when the city of San Diego is running a massive structural deficit. So I would say, yes, bike lanes make some sense in some areas, but not at the expense of other infrastructure projects that other residents actually use. Bike lanes are more of a nice to have, not a must have, especially when we're running the deficit we're in.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons.
Say use of nuts. This course. So I absolutely support bike lanes. Before the Pershing Boulevard project was underway, we had 2 deaths. Laura Shin died. Charlie Sepulveda was killed. That's not acceptable. A lot of you have children that are on e-bikes. They're whizzing around, nausea. It is a problem. They need to have bike lanes. There's also electric scooters. So if we don't protect our kids and our pedestrians, our bikers, then we're not going to achieve climate goals, And we honestly need to balance it, as everybody's suggesting. But at the end of the day, infrastructure is key, and safety. Kids have been to school wherever you need to go. It'll help support people getting to work, to school, and it'll cut down on unnecessary tragedies. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question. What is your position on the AD consents to which owns broadcast? Was anything? Which of the things?
As we all know, there is a bit of a problem with these fume developments from around, and massive stacks with AU ordinances called place. And as a state council member, well, first off, AUs are part of the state, so there's nothing if these people are allowed to make AUs. But you can implement policies to limit how they're done, that the amounts per loss occur. And so I would use my powers in the city council to do everything that is and to limit these kind of haphazard ways of producing housing, and is more interested in like freeing up zoning so development of new single income housing could be developed again.
We can. Yes, sir.
So
Go in the cell.
I'm not in favor of the bonus ABU programs. I serve on a planning board. And what I'm going to last time, actually, we're talking about SB 9, and now we see the impact of that policy in our neighborhoods, especially Claremont. You guys have been swarmed by developers who are not acting in good faith, who are taking over cul-de-sacs, who are creating mini apartments that are creating ADUs that are not affordable, that they take away the parking. And then on top of it, you don't know that they brought our city of the development impact fees that go to fund the general fund that help invest and reinvest back into our communities. And so the city needs to do what they say they're going to do, and they need to invest in our communities with smart growth. I don't mind having 1 or 2 ADUs in the backyard, and you can do with it what you want. But when you're building many apartment complexes, you're not providing parking, that's not smart growth. And so we need change, and we need to redo the ABU ordinance here in San Diego.
Thank you, Mr. Riffings.
Elizabeth.
Oh,
I was very disappointed with the AU debacle that we had. We were all sold on the granny flat, right, flutter blanket, instead of their bait and switch. And then we ended up with these in-years, these art buildings and backyards that was not sustainable. And that was ridiculous. We all owed a very big debt of gratitude to the neighborhood in Anfield who actually showed up and actually got some things changed. It's the red regulars now.
fine. Sorry.
That showed also a big thing in which being involved. You know, it was a small group of neighbors, not full community, and they showed up to local room awareness. This helps build this in conscious their gay. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Ms. Cosby.
As the president of the Claremont Town Council, we submitted a letter to all the council members and the mayor indicating our concern and displeasure with the extent of the program. And that's because we are now seeing the housing laws that expires. Many trash cans at the end of the cul-de-sac, fire hazards, ruining our canyons, trying to make better the communities that are welcoming to families. When you have 500 smaller square foot establishments, you were not able to be there assistantly with the kid and the family, or even extended care if you need to help someone out. And that is problematic. It wasn't thoughtful growth. It was really about outsider interests that took away a lot of the community and opportunity for people in Claremont and across the city. And I think now we're paying that price. So we are going to be doing it smart. We're going to be doing it intentionally. Thank you.
Cheers. We just had a conversation about how unaffordable ABUs can be for some folks. And I believe that our opportunity to work with our neighbors and our city to build a better city does rely on your cooperation in the ways in which our city has been responsive to state law. ADUs are a method in which we can provide additional housing for folks to secure. How it is that those ADUs continue to provide for said affordability I believe that's an opportunity with oversight in the Housing Commission to ensure that those units do remain affordable, do remain online, and do remain accessible for folks to ensure that they can afford to live here. I don't think that we have a city that can achieve ensuring that we take our trash cans in on time or widen the street or ensure that we can deliver basic services for provided to bank. We have an opportunity to be a big city, and if the neighbor is compliant with state law and the city is implementing state law, and they're able to build an ADU, that ADU should be built, and we have an opportunity as a city to respond to that in this affordability crisis. Thank you.
Mr. Bailey?
If density alone brought down the cost of housing for everyone, then Little Italy would be the cheapest place to put all of San Diego. It's not. The ADU program is a perfect example of local policy making state policy even worse. As the other candidates I mentioned, the ADU policy is throughout the state. We have a lot of ADU in state policy. But the difference between most cities and the city of San Diego is that the city of San Diego passed this ADU bonus programs, which essentially pours gasoline on the fire that doesn't provide any additional firehouses to put out that fire. So when we think about this, this is something squarely within our control. We can't change state law, but we can reform the city's ADU bonus program. I think we should.
Thank you, Mr. Silva.
So while I do support affordable housing, I do not support policies that increase density, and it's due to infrastructure concerns. Knocked on a lot of doors in the last couple months, and people are being served with parking. Parking is not going to work. ADUs have to have parking associated with this. There are sewer issues. There are electrical issues. We've got electrical poles that are flaring because there is a density issue, and it can create safety hazards, fire. So if you want to avoid some of the devastating effects of density, then we have to be focused in terms of our ability to plan. So pro planning, I'm not trying to demonize development, but we have to be so creative since slacking current.
Thank you. The next question is, do you support the NC tax or regulating short-term vacation rentals?
That's the my thing. It's very
I believe strongly the we less curved or influence. As I said before, I've not people and special insurance groups. So Airbnb, VRBO, if it's pushing people out of San Diego and creating an environment where it's just not affordable, that we need to confront those issues. Those corporations I just mentioned, they are not, will never be my constituents that elect this. I care fight for two.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ricketts.
To that vacancy taxes I impose, anything in which you're going to tax somebody for owning something just to have it, I impose that Airbnbs, that can be a case-by-case basis. You know, a lot of the issues that I'm saying right now with Airbnbs aren't because there's too many Airbnbs and the flooding in the neighborhood. Things that like to for housing are because of the tenants that like to that stuff, right? That's the big issues. That's not Airbnbs. That's sort of gives the outlet. It's how we're dealing with people that are trying to allow how at least perspectives about more cities of me.
Thank you.
Let's get it. So I know qualms, but I generally kind of like the idea of they just tax just anything that can make housing work for. I am sympathetic to any 80% less than. But on top of that, short-term rentals, I would support a 30-day ban for 30-day limit on rentals. So if you're under that, there would be a hearing where you either have to just go on from rental or sell it. Generally on for property rights, so what everyone want to do with your primary residence, I don't support that. But I know that there's a lot of vacant homes and a lot of people who want them in busy state. And I think that tourists can go to hotels or visit them, you know, and sorry, I'm not used to public speaking, just need to flash the cards. I do this. Yes, I support updating for rentals too.
Thank you. With
be that what to be understood. You can see tennis. I am not necessarily that at this time because what you don't realize is that that would go to general fund. So it'd be like writing the city another like check. And I think our city would do better because you haven't taken their budget and tightening up their purse strings rather than asking again for another white check from our city. And if they were going to pass it, the city can't even enforce its STDRs now. How are we going to enforce and determine who's vacant and who's not? And there's studies that have